I was doom scrolling at work when I found the question. My subordinate keeps trying to seduce me. Should I fire her? I frowned. The description of her outfits and her routine. Why did it sound exactly like me? The next day, I wore my most basic soul-crushing corporate attire. White button-down, blue skirt. Question updated immediately. This woman is a master manipulator. Look at how sexy she dressed today. Attached was a picture of a generic outfit. That looked exactly like mine. The comments were confused. I stared at the photo on my screen frozen. That was definitely my outfit. I clicked on his profile and started digging. From the beginning, his early posts were textbook finance. Broke stocks, crypto, grind set. Motivational quotes I didn't understand. Then the tone shifted. There is a girl in the office. Eyes like sparkles. Always smiling at me when everyone else hides. What does it mean? The comments flooded in. She wants you, bro. Him. Company policy forbids office romance. Commenter, do you like her? Him, I don't have time for women. While others are dating, I study the blade. Women only slow down my draw speed. A commenter, alright, Sigma. Whatever you say. But then things got weird. The stock tips vanished. The updates about the subordinate took over. Yesterday's plea for help had over 5,000 upvotes. And thousands of comments. He is constantly provoking me. It is affecting my revenue stream. What do I do? The internet loves a train wreck. Fire her, he replied instantly. I am a principal leader. I don't fire people without cause. How is she provoking you? Give us the tea. He wrote a manifesto. Every Monday meeting, she dresses provocatively. She stares at me with those bright eyes while giving her report. I mentioned once that I minor in literature. Turns out she writes answers on Quora. My handle is Endless Summer. Her social handle is June. The internet paused. I was with you until the names. What does Endless Summer have to do with June? He replied within seconds. June is the gateway to summer. She named herself June because she wants to get into summer. She wants to get into me. It is a subliminal signal. Commenter, LOL. Okay, buddy. That is a reach. I sat back in my chair. I was starting to suspect the delusional poster was talking about me. My nickname in the workgroup chat was indeed June. Not because I wanted to enter anyone, but because I was born in June. I never paid attention to anyone else's handles. I didn't know who Endless Summer was. My main gig was being a corporate drone. My side hustle was writing online. Everyone knew that. I never exposed my pen name, and I definitely didn't stalk my coworkers. Online. Aliases. The internet has no. Chill up. What do you mean she is provoking you? You are just hallucinating. Yeah. Those usernames aren't even related. You are reaching, bro. Well. Nawab has already written a 300 episode romance drama in his head. And the girl is still on the opening credits. The poster wasn't having it then. Explain why she tries so hard to perform for me in every meeting. The comments turned to pity. Is it possible? Just maybe she wants a raise? I sipped my coffee in the break room staring at the screen. I needed to know who this guy was. First I had to confirm if the subordinate was actually me. The next day, I went full NPC. Basic white button-down, boring blue pencil skirt. It was a Monday, no scheduled meetings. But Sam, my direct supervisor, suddenly called a team huddle. 5 minutes after the meeting ended. The question updated. This woman is dangerous. She dressed so sexy today. I switched to my burner account. How sexy pics, or it didn't happen. In less than an hour, my comment had 1,000 likes. It verified the ratio. I was winning. To prove the haters wrong, the poster uploaded a picture. It was a stock photo of a white shirt and blue skirt. Commenters? The replies were a wall of confusion. He was typing furiously now, desperate to prove his point. You guys don't get it. She wore that just to see me. What else was I wearing? I typed back. Wore what? The internet followed my lead. We're curious now. What is it? This fit is basic corporate drone attire. Where is the sexy? Honestly, it is kind of frumpy. Oops. Down bad. The poster snapped the stockings. I am a leg man. Okay. She wore them on purpose. She knows exactly what she's doing. Showing off those long straight legs and the tattoo on her ankle. A gardenia. It's lethal. Case closed. The subordinate was me. I have a gardenia tattoo on my right ankle. My name is Fallon and the gardenia is my signature flower. The comment section exploded. Guys, I am trying not to laugh out loud at work. My face is cramping up. Is absolutely obsessed with her. Bookmark forwarding to my work bestie. This is tea. The poster started spiraling. Forget it. I can't explain it to you people. I don't like her. My focus is purely on revenue and growth. The top comment read, well, now if this guy was cremated, his mouth would be the only thing left because it is still so stubborn. I have 2 direct supervisors. Zone is Timothy, the operations lead. He is married pass. The other is Sam, the department head. Single. Funny, a strong possibility. Then there is the big boss, Alistair. He is devastatingly handsome, but he is a ruthless capitalist. Cold as liquid nitrogen. Rumors say he is allergic to women and only gets aroused by profit margins. Probability low. Logic dictates it has to be Sam. To confirm, I slid into the poster's DMS using my burner account. Do you work at Nexus Tech? The reply was instant. How did you know? I looked up. Sam was standing by the printer, humming a breakup ballad. Oh, what kind of man are you? What kind of man? He was completely lost in his own vocal performance. He wasn't looking at his phone. Then Alistair. The thought hit me like a physical blow. I couldn't shake it. I had to rule him out. I downed a shot of vodka I kept stashed in the break room. Before I dared to knock on Alistair's door. He was reading a file framed by the dying sun. Gold-rimmed glasses rested on the bridge of his nose. The air in the room instantly changed the moment I stepped in. It smelled of expensive cedar and aged leather. A cold, sterile scent that screamed money and distance. Didn't look up immediately. His features were sharp, predatory, sculpted by a god who prioritized aesthetics over mercy. When his eyes finally flicked to me, the temperature in the room dropped below freezing. Abyssal dark, devoid of warmth. My stomach dropped. I instantly regretted this. A man like this doesn't shitpost on the internet about his feelings. But I was already inside the lion's den. What is it? His voice was a low rumble. It vibrated in the floorboards. The sheer weight of his presence made my palms sweat. I forced a plastic smile onto my face. There is a corporate outreach event on the platform. They want to invite you. Do you have time? He didn't blink. Bring the file here. He flipped through the papers I handed him. I stared at his hands, fingers like carved marble. Cold, elegant, uppercut Felipe wrapped around his wrist. They looked familiar. I'd seen hands like that on the poster's profile. I closed my eyes and went for the kill. Sir Alistair, what is your handle ID? I need to note it down for the organizers. He glanced at me. A silence stretched. Suffocating and heavy. The poster said his ID was Endless Summer. Alistair turned his monitor. He opened his profile page. I looked down, holding my breath until my lungs burned, waiting for the verdict. The name on the screen hit me like a physical blow. Alistair, just his real name, not Endless Summer. My lungs seized. I was running out of oxygen. The office was dead silent, eerily quiet because I was leaning in so close. Gravity did its job. A lock of my hair slipped from behind my ear. It drifted down and grazed the back of his hand. Sorry, sir. I scrambled back, apologizing frantically. Alistair didn't move. His lips pressed into a razor-thin line. His entire body went rigid. Every muscle in his forearm locked up. He looked physically repulsed by my touch. I was insane to think this man was the poster. I fled his office. My legs felt like jelly. It was a close call, but at least I had eliminated Alistair as a suspect.
So, who is it?
I was still spiraling when my phone buzzed. I looked down at my phone. My hands were shaking so hard I nearly dropped it into my lukewarm coffee. The notification was from the forum. Endless Summer had posted an update 30 seconds ago. Update. The threat level just went nuclear. The target infiltrated my sanctum under the guise of corporate outreach. She breached my personal space. A biological weapon, a lock of hair, was deployed against my hand. I went catatonic to preserve my energy reserves. My heart rate is currently 140 BPM, purely from the adrenaline of combat. She smelled like vanilla and treason. Gentlemen, I was almost compromised. I need to meditate on the blade immediately. I stared at the screen. I stared at the door to Alistair's office. I looked back at the screen. Vanilla and treason. My shampoo was Vanilla Bean from Trader Joe's. Catatonic. The way he went rigid like a statue. Sanctum. His office that smelled of cedar and money. It was him. The realization hit me harder than the vodka. Alistair, the human iceberg, the man who looked like he was carved from marble and disdain, was Endless Summer. The man who claimed to study the blade and viewed women as obstacles to his draw speed was the CEO of Nexus Tech. He hadn't shown me his forum profile. He had shown me his company internet profile. He had alt-tabbed me in real life. A bubble of hysteria rose in my throat. I had to clamp my hand over my mouth to keep from screaming. The most intimidating man in the building, the one I was terrified of, was currently hyperventilating on the internet because my hair touched his hand. I didn't flee the building. I didn't quit. I walked back to my desk, sat down, and opened my burner account. Commenter, me bro, 140 BPM? That sounds like a panic attack. Are you sure you aren't just in love with her? I watched the screen. Endless Summer. Love is a chemical defect found in betas. This is a physiological response to a threat. She is trying to extract my seed capital. I snorted loud enough that Sam looked over from his cubicle. You okay, Fallon? Never better, Sam, I said, a wicked grin spreading across my face. Just checking the stocks. The power dynamic had shifted. He wasn't the predator anymore. He was the content. For the next 2 weeks, I didn't just do my job, I performed it. If Alistair wanted to believe I was a master manipulator trying to seduce him, who was I to deny him the show? I turned the office into a psychological experiment. Monday. I wore glasses. Update from Endless Summer. She has donned corrective lenses. This is a calculated move to appeal to the sexy librarian archetype. It is a direct attack on my intellectual defenses. I will not look at her. I will stare at this spreadsheet until my retinas burn. Tuesday, I brought a homemade lunch and ate it in the break room when I knew he got his coffee. Update from Endless Summer. She is consuming domestic nutrients in a public space. The smell of basil is wafting into the hallway. She is signaling her viability as a mate who can provide sustenance. Joke's on her. I run on caffeine and rage. Wednesday, I accidentally dropped a pen during the budget meeting. I didn't even bend over provocatively. I just picked it up. Update from Endless Summer. Gravity is conspiring with her. I saw the ankle. The gardenia tattoo. It mocked me. I had to recite the Fibonacci sequence backwards to keep from proposing on the spot. I mean, firing her on the spot. I was having the time of my life. But I also started noticing things I had missed before. When I handed him reports, his fingers didn't just brush mine. They lingered for a microsecond before he snatched the paper away, as if it were burning. When I spoke in meetings, he didn't look at me, but he stopped typing. He listened with a terrifying intensity. The Sigma male garbage he spewed online was a shield. Beneath the cringeworthy quotes about swords and grinding, Alistair was lonely. He was a socially awkward genius who had no idea how to process attraction, so he converted it into the only language he understood: conflict. I decided to escalate. Sir, I said, standing in his doorway on a Friday afternoon. The marketing team is going out for drinks. You should come. Alistair looked up. The afternoon light caught the sharp angle of his jaw. He looked devastatingly handsome, and for a second, I forgot he was a weirdo who posted about revenue streams on Reddit. I have work, he said, his voice flat. The revenue stream will survive 1 hour of social interaction, I challenged. His eyes narrowed. Did you just quote you? No, sir. Just common sense. He stood up. He was tall. Unfairly tall. Feeney. 1 drink. To monitor team cohesion. Update from Endless Summer. Posted from the bathroom 5 minutes later, she has lured me into a social trap. Alcohol reduces reaction time. If she attempts to dance, I will have to evacuate via the fire escape. The turning point came a month later at the annual Nexus Tech Retreat in Aspen. It was a 3-day event of synergy building and vision alignment, which mostly meant expensive dinners and skiing. I packed my bags with intention. The internet commenters were begging for a season finale, and I was going to give them one. On the second night, there was a formal gala. I wore a dress I had bought specifically for this moment. It was emerald green, silk, backless, and dangerous. It clung to me like a second skin. When I walked into the ballroom, the conversation died down. Sam dropped his hors d'oeuvre. I scanned the room for Alistair. He was in the corner, holding a glass of scotch like it was a weapon, talking to a board member. He looked bored, detached, until he saw me. He didn't move. He didn't blink. But I saw his throat bob as he swallowed. I checked my phone under the table. Endless Summer, code red. Repeat. Code red. The target has deployed the green dress. This is not a drill. It is backless. I repeat, there is no back. Where is the structural integrity? This is engineering witchcraft. She is walking towards me. My operating system is crashing. I walked right up to him. Good evening, Alistair. June, he said. He didn't call me Fallon. He called me by my nickname. Enjoying the party? It is inefficient. He couldn't take his eyes off me. His gaze was heavy, physical. You look acceptable. Acceptable? I laughed, stepping closer. Just acceptable? If I compliment you, he murmured, his voice dropping an octave. You win. Win what? The game. The siege. Whatever this is. He was drunk. Not stumbling drunk, but honest drunk. The liquid nitrogen had thawed. Maybe I don't want to win, I whispered, bold on champagne. Maybe I just want a truce. He stared at me, his eyes dark and conflicted. I cannot afford a truce. A truce leads to negotiation. Negotiation leads to surrender. I am a king, June. I do not surrender. Then dance with me. He hesitated. For a moment, I thought he would run. But he set his glass down and took my hand. His grip was firm, his hand hot against my skin. We moved to the dance floor. He was a surprisingly good dancer, precise, leading with authority. I didn't know you could dance, I said. I studied waltz mechanics, he replied stiffly. It's just geometry and physics. Is that all I am to you? Geometry? He pulled me closer. Our chests brushed. The air between us crackled with enough electricity to power the entire server room. No, he said, almost to himself. You are the anomaly, the variable I cannot solve. We were inches apart. I tilted my head back. He looked down at my lips. Then his phone buzzed in his pocket. Then mine. Then everyone's. A hush fell over the room. People were checking their notifications. Oh my God, someone whispered. Is this the boss? My blood ran cold. I pulled away and checked my phone. Someone had found the Endless Summer account. They had doxed him. A link was circulating on the company's Slack. Nexus Tech CEO Alistair Thorne found posting bizarre manifesto about employee on anonymous forum. It wasn't just a leak. It was a flood. Screenshots of his posts about studying the blade, his panic over my outfits, his obsession with my gardenia tattoo. Alistair froze. He saw the screens. He saw the faces of his employees, shocked, amused, horrified. The Sigma King had been unmasked. He looked at me. The panic in his eyes was real this time. It wasn't funny anymore. He turned and walked out of the ballroom without a word. The next morning, the retreat was cancelled. Alistair was nowhere to be found. The internet was having a field day. Hashtag Endless Summer was trending. People were making memes of him holding a katana while looking at a spreadsheet. I sat in my hotel room, feeling sick. I had wanted to tease him, not destroy him. I realized something then. I didn't just enjoy the game. I liked him. I liked the weird, socially stunted, intense, secret romantic hidden under layers of internet brain rot. I drove back to the city and went straight to his penthouse. I knew the address from the HR files. The doorman tried to stop me, but I flashed my badge and lied about a crisis extraction. I took the elevator to the top floor. The door was unlocked. The apartment was dark, illuminated only by the glow of massive monitors. Alistair was sitting on the floor, surrounded by takeout boxes. He wasn't wearing his suit. He was in a t-shirt and sweatpants. He looked human, defeated. You shouldn't be here, he said, not looking up. I am drafting my resignation. The board will demand it. Stop typing, Alistair. I have disgraced the company. I have revealed my eccentricities. You revealed you're a human being who has a crush on his employee and doesn't know how to handle it, I said, stepping over a pizza box. He looked up. He looked tired. It wasn't a crush. It was a hostile takeover of my nervous system. God, you are such a dork, I said affectionately. I sat down on the floor next to him. They're laughing at me, he said quietly. I studied the blade, Fallon. And now I am the joke. They're laughing because it's relatable, I said. Well, the blade part is cringe. But the rest? Being terrified of a pretty girl? Creating a fantasy world because you're too scared to say hello? That's everyone. He looked at me, confusion warring with hope. You think I'm relatable? I think you're an idiot. But you're my idiot. I pulled out my phone. What are you doing? He asked, panicking. Logging in. I opened the forum. The thread was still active, millions of views. I typed a new comment. User, June_actual. Verified employee of Nexus Tech. Hey everyone. I'm the subordinate. I'm the girl with the gardenia tattoo. Yeah, my boss is a weirdo. He thinks eye contact is a declaration of war, and he probably owns a fedora. But he's also brilliant. And he's the only person who ever noticed the tattoo, or the specific shade of blue I wear, or the fact that I write poetry. He didn't fire me. He didn't harass me. He just panicked. So back off. The Sigma is with me. I hit post. Alistair stared at the screen. You claimed me. I did. Does this mean we are in an alliance? Alistair, shut up. I grabbed the collar of his t-shirt and pulled him in. He didn't freeze this time. He didn't hold frame. He melted. The kiss was messy and desperate and better than anything I had imagined. He tasted like expensive scotch and anxiety. His hands, those marble-carved hands, tangled into my hair, the same hair that had caused a meltdown weeks ago. When we broke apart, he was breathless. His glasses were crooked. BPM 180, he whispered. Cardiac arrest imminent. Just breathe. I laughed. 6 months later, the scandal blew over. In fact, Nexus Tech stock went up. Apparently, investors liked a CEO who was passionate, even if that passion was expressed through samurai metaphors. We kept it professional at work. Mostly. But the thread was legendary. Alistair, who had deleted his old account, couldn't help himself. He made a new one. User, Blademaster_Redix. Question, my girlfriend, formerly the subordinate, keeps stealing my hoodies. Is this a resource extraction strategy? How do I reclaim my territory? Commenter, me just buy her a ring, you coward. Blademaster_Redix. I am studying the catalog. Diamond density must be optimal. I smiled at my screen across the office. Alistair caught my eye through the glass walls of his office. He didn't smile. He wasn't that kind of guy, but he tapped his wrist, where a small, braided bracelet now sat next to his Patek Philippe. I went back to work. The internet could have its drama. I had my endless summer.